Take us away.
Okie dokie. Happy Friday. It is the end of July. So we approach August, which is our last month with our students, which is scary and exciting at the same time. I'm going to give a few people's updates before I turn to everyone because I got a few people enjoying a long weekend. Um, for the appendix brief, appeals brief appendix, Catherine and I set up a meeting with Quentin for next week to think about how to build a little bit smarter. There's lots of things that Catherine's been researching, and she wants to make sure that it's built the best way. And I think she's got a lot of good questions that I don't know the answer to. So we're going to get some input from Quentin on how to use the new exhibit that he built in AL baseline, QL baseline. Um, Eleni has finished setting up the testing scenarios for motion to reconsider. I have one person who's volunteered to take it on, but I'm still going to put it in the testing channel with some instructions. If anybody has time that they would like to do one or two scenarios, you don't have to do, I think there's 14, all of those for our volunteers. If you see it, you're looking for something and you have questions, just let Eleni or I know. And we're also going to Eleni's also going to start testing the 209A. She's all but got the map done, which is unbelievably impressive. So snaps and claps to her, even though she's not here to receive them. She's doing a great job.
Being recorded.
Yes.
Posterity knows.
Yes. We'll put it in the ether for her. Um, Other than that, those are all the updates I wanted that people asked me to give on their behalf. So without further ado, let's move to how about the complaint to establish paternity? Kajal and Shauna, how are you guys doing?
Yes, we're doing good. Not too many big updates since Tuesday. So we're just working on the issues that we went over with Aubrey in our last meeting.
Does that mean, did you decide to push back your plain language review?
Yeah, we pushed it to next Friday with Caroline.
Okay, great. Good to know that. That's what you're working towards. Thank you. And let's scroll over a little. Just draw here now. How about the change name petition? How you doing, Ryan?
Yes. So I'm not sure if you I haven't been able to get in touch with Donna today because I think she's at work right now. I know she works Fridays. I'm not sure if she met with anyone yesterday. I think she said she was planning on maybe meeting with you, Aubrey. I'm not sure what ended up happening with that.
So
But
that was actually when we ended up surprising her.
okay,
So if she had business, we didn't get to it.
gotcha. Okay. Either way, not too many updates from Tuesday, just trying to slowly work our way through the code and change the way we structured some of our questions from being like true false with reworded buttons to being actual variables linked with each button. So slowly working through making changes like that. And then I think I'm going to need to set up the like MVP outlining meeting with David and whoever else would like to attend sometime next week. That would be convenient for all of us. But other than that, I don't think I have anything else.
Okay. Do you want to make all of those changes before that meeting, or is it in a state that we can look at it without all those changes and kind of say in our mind,
Yeah,
imagine it?
I mean, you and Michelle have seen it as it was with the like true false questions. So, I mean, if you think that's
Hmm.
in a state where it would still be appropriate to judge whether or not it's like headed towards the right MVP or if we need to make some changes, then
Okay.
I can leave it, but I can continue making changes before the meeting if you think that would help too.
Yeah, so why don't you shoot me your availability for next week since I know you're going to jump off, and we'll get something on the books. And any
Okay.
changes that you make before then, we'll just keep it in a separate branch so that if something's broken, we've got the version and we can imagine those changes
Okay.
that are coming. Sound good?
Sounds good. Yeah, as far as availability goes, all day, every day.
Okay. All right, great.
Be good.
Thank you. And all right, I think that's up for Trello cards. Bryce, how are you doing? Do you have an update?
Not too much of an update. Still just going on um, Tyler stuff. At some point, David, I might need to meet with like you or Quentin and really try to nail out like mappings between like the list taxonomy to Tyler's stuff to ECF. Like, I don't even know if there is like looking at it, it's like it would be nice if there was a map, but like it is relatively complicated between what courts and what locations allow which like case types, and there are a lot of different numbers that are like duplicate case types, and I don't, and so like I just need to try to sit down and see what all we can nail up.
We can probably, so unless it's integral to the operation, we can hold those off past MVP for Tyler.
That's a fair point. It'll be integral to how we actually integrate things into interviews, but you're right. I was gonna have like just a hacky sort of like directly, here's the direct thing Tyler wants as a variable in interviews until then. But yeah.
And then I do think we want that mapping as part of the deliverables for Pew. So we will want to do that before the end of September. But
yes, but we can do it after we go for certification. So that's it.
Awesome. David, do you have anything? Should have kept you on the
just working on fun paperwork stuff that no one needs to worry about.
Sounds exciting. Michelle?
May mean that I actually might have to jump off casual early to write some stuff. But
all right. Well,
oh, and
sorry,
next
yes.
Friday I will not be here. So
neither will I.
So we might just take Friday off, unless Quentin wants to run it. Well, we'll figure it out.
All right. Something to think about. Michelle, do you have anything?
I'm pretty good. Still talking to you, David, about switching to the
Yes,
testing.
I had a question, but I don't remember what it is.
Something about the password or the token or something?
I'll go back into the channel at some point.
Okay.
Maybe not exactly today. I think the main thing was, do I need a new link? Did you give me a new link? You just gave me the user.
You can restart or whatever. Like you can't destroy what you did before. Like you don't need a new link.
But the fact that the interview is on a different server doesn't care.
No. This is for anyone to use any DocAssemble anything with.
That was my
specifically built
question.
With that power in mind.
That was my question. All right.
Sure.
Yeah, we did something.
We did. We got a thing done. Got some really excellent feedback from, neither of them are here. Catherine and Sarah. I wanted to thank them, but plenty of confusion to clarify. So that is very useful. It's just really nice to put it in front of people and like actually, like understand what other perspectives are. So very good. Our person at Code for Boston is writing some of that up. We're developing issues around it and specific actions. The reports are shaping up and have found a couple errors already. So that's awesome. Not errors, really just like suboptimal behavior. But so that's great. There's some question of behavior. Maybe this isn't the place to ask it, but having a lot of trouble deciding on behavior for the and I download step. And I download whatever.pdf is actually pretty problematic, especially with our specific tables, because whatever.pdf appears at least twice. At the very least twice on the page. And one of those is a download button and one of those is not a download button. And the non-download button comes first. And there's a slight difference in the URL. Also, every URL contains a unique ID that is unique to that interview, which means that like it is maybe a thing that indicates it's downloadable, then a unique ID, then the name of the file. And so like there's regex involved there. And one of the questions is, do we just have people put in their own regex for what they want to be found, because they can inspect their page and find that. But then again, and there would be a like, this is the usual regex you use, but or like, and then some things like the zip, you tap on a zip and it'll download, it'll trigger a download dialog, but it does not have that same beginning of the URL. Like it does not have that indicator. So like some download things have an indicator that they are specifically for downloading and some do not. And it's just like very unclear how to identify, how to have the developer identify. Like how much does a developer need to identify and specify about whatever it is that needs downloading? How much can the testing framework do? And if the developer does need to specify more, how do they do that? So,
Yeah, well, that seems like a bigger conversation than now, but those are all good questions for people to think about.
okay. In the meantime, no one download anything. Because it
Or at
doesn't.
least don't think that the testing has
Yeah.
caught on.
Right. I'll like comment out that step and just no one do it.
We won't even look
I
at
mean,
it.
generally, the less the developer has to find.
Yeah,
the
for
better.
sure,
So,
for
I mean,
sure. I
but
just can't figure out like what the ins and outs of the like download indicators are. Like
there might be something
doesn't.
reasonably standard about the way we tend to package things, and maybe we can say, get 80% of the things by just making an assumption.
Sure.
That might be good enough. But like I said, larger conversation. I'm getting tricked into the own
Yes,
thing.
you are. When can this when and where is the appropriate place for
This
this
seems
conversation?
like more of a deep dive conversation.
Okay, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I put it on the agenda so we can.
Thanks,
prioritize it.
Bryce.
And then the
Good
one
idea.
thing to be mindful of is that the normal sprint that would have taken place in August isn't going to take place because we're keeping the decks clear to be able to help Bryce with all the things that he needs at the end. So to the extent that we have a bunch of things for like next month and some change, we're going to just be like, we'll take note of it. We'll take note of it. We'll take note of it, and probably won't have the bandwidth to deal with it, but we'll just take note of things.
Okay. Sounds good. Set up the AL exhibit tests. They should be up. And found an interesting bug. I think, Bryce, you were in on this too, with exhibits where they sometimes show other files than the ones you uploaded in this particular session. So that's being worked on. There's some kind of caching, something going on. I was actually seeing other people's files, so that would be good to work on, but I think Quentin's probably already on that. If I know Quentin. Yeah, we got the 209A tests merged, so I can start generating more 209A tests now that we have like a, kind of verified path there. If that is desired. If that is not desired as a next step, then, Aubrey, if you can talk to Eleni and tell her to save the PDFs at the end of, if she's not already doing that, at the end of her tests, and to save the JSON files in the same, the JSON information in the same way that she did last time. So I've walked her through. So just to keep record the JSON and also keep the PDFs, I think that will help us a lot in the future, future steps that we want to take, because we will be able to replicate the paths that Eleni has identified as key paths, and Eleni and you have identified as key paths, and like automate those tests.
Okay. And I'm sorry, you said you've shown Eleni how to save that information?
The JSON, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. I'll share that with her. She hasn't started, so.
Yes. This time I remembered before.
Yeah.
It's great. Okay, good. Then I think I'm all set.
Great. Thanks, Michelle. And Lisa, we are looking forward to your demo coming on Tuesday during Teaching Tuesday time. Do you have anything else you'd like to share with us?
That's pretty much it, other than Louisiana is a really strange place right now in not a good way. So we're all adapting to that, which doesn't have any direct impact yet on forms, but could in the future have a big impact on technology depending on how the state continues to respond to the current COVID surge. So I know it sounds like an odd connection, but a lot of things were sparked by the first initial COVID waves, like taking things online, as y'all know. So it's strange times here, unfortunately, and we're hoping things calm down soon. So we hope you guys are all well.
Thank you and best of luck, Lisa.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the presentation though, and it'll be fun to share this with folks with a different perspective.
Yeah, I saw a sneak peek and I'm very excited to see it again. So get everyone excited. I think. Oh, I had one point that I missed. The team that was going through and getting all the mailing addresses for the court locations, I managed to get the Newton court because I was like, I wonder if I try. And I caught them because I called really early in the morning. And so that's ready. And I don't know who is picking it up, if we need to do anything further, or just knowing that that list is complete is all that was needed.
Is that team just none of their members are here though?
Yes.
So,
So
okay.
I'm,
So
but that was one of the questions that was out there. Does something, oh, is that Quinton? Does Quinton own like the
what was the
tech
question
behind it?
exactly again?
It's the court mailing addresses, and we
Yeah.
need to collect them. And so they're like, okay, we're done. Now what?
I believe he has some data structure he wants to put them into. I'm not
Okay.
sure where it resides.
Great. So
And he is
everybody is not here.
I
Yeah,
think
he
it's
is.
MA courts.
That's where
if
the
that
normal court
matters.
stuff goes. But yeah, I think it's
Oh,
under
he's putting
I think it's
other.
the well, I think the court stuff is under Greater Boston Legal Services.
That is where MA courts
repo.
is. Yeah.
So that would have to go through Quentin.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up again when at least one of those team members are
And
here.
he should
then.
be back Wednesday-ish, I think. He's not entirely gone, but he's
Oh, in that case, I have a question. I would still like to do deep dive Monday if he's not here. Does that still work for you, Bryce?
that's an interesting question. I would I want to give
Bryce time.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
'Cause
will,
I had a
be sort of in a bit
specific.
of a rush to try and get some features in before
Okay.
we like do an official test with the
Jefferson
Jefferson
Parish.
Parish next week.
So
Maybe Lily and I will just
yeah,
chat,
you
but
can.
maybe now is
guys
an
can jump on.
opportunity to, I don't know when else I'll ask. So documentation wise for the testing framework, I think it really does need multiple pages. I know we had a plan for making like dividing up the whole documentation into like these different sections, but that might not be for a while. So if everybody's okay, I'll just make these separate pages for the testing framework, and then they can just move the contents
on the
of the documentation
Docusaurus,
side.
yeah. Yeah, that's fine. You can just put them on their own
I
thing.
I know.
Yeah, there's a separate process that will need to be done with everything to organize it. I don't feel like it's a like
Yeah,
I
let's
would
get it
prioritize getting it. Yeah, getting it somewhere first. So.
Okay, because yeah, I didn't. That was my main
And then
question.
we can clean it
Okay.
up and reconnect it.
Yes. Yes, and then that will need its own user testing for clarity. Documentation should always get user testing. It's the way it should be. Okay, that's good.
All right. Anyone else for the end of the week before we take our hats off and go casual?